right, so welcome back to the show, folks. So glad you're here. Listen, now we're going to talk about one of my favorite entertainment events, sports, whatever it may be, dedication, boxing, the sweet science, hard-hitting promotions, bringing it back to Atlantic City, back to the 401. My man, Manny Rivera. Manny, thank you for coming to the show. We appreciate you. Listen, let our folks and our viewers know who you are and what you're doing here, man.
Absolutely. So my name is Manny Rivera. I'm one of the founders and partners of Hard Hitting Promotions. Is one of the premier boxing promotional companies in the East Coast, and just grateful and thankful to being here with you.
We appreciate it. The Boricuas in town and whatnot and fighting. Listen, one of the near and dear sports, again, when I say to me, I was involved in wrestling, football, baseball, the only Rican who played ice hockey. But the one thing my father always knew was boxing and baseball, coming from Puerto Rico and that sort of thing. So when it comes to boxing, you know, whether it's the legacy of Roberto Duran and Wilfredo Benitez, and then just go right on to Gotti and Spinks and Tyson, what's happened here in Atlantic City growing up in this area was always so much fun. It was electric. You have recently brought a series back to 801 Boardwalk Showboat, right? And tell us a little bit about that. And then we're going to drop back to how you got involved in boxing, but let the folks know a little bit about what's going on.
Absolutely. So, you know, we have the privilege and really joyful about bringing what we do, what I call the fruit that, you know, the creator gave me, is to produce boxing events. Like Mike said, I'm a Puerto Rican kid born in Puerto Rico, and boxing is just in my blood. So, you know, growing up, that was all I wanted to do, never thinking that I was going to be a boxing promoter. But we have, luckily, by the grace of God, have partnered up with some of the greatest entities in entertainment. We have partnered up with Live Nation. We have partnered up with Showtime networks. We have done shows on Telemundo. We have done shows from Puerto Rico all the way down and up the East Coast. So with that being said, this is what I believe at one time, and it still is, one of the meccas of boxing. I mean, Atlantic City, you know, some of the greats, Mike Tyson,
right,
and I mean, on and on and on. This was their home. This was Arturo Gotti. This was where all these legendary fights happened. So it was only fitting that we tried to be a part of this, right? Of the great legacy that is Atlantic City boxing. And we partnered up with the Showboat. They've been such a great partner. I mean, in all aspects of it. You know, if you haven't been down to the Showboat, be a part of what's happening here. I think just like us trying to, you know, revise what the sport of boxing is on a constant level here, it's the same thing that I believe that they're doing. I mean, it's such a family-oriented place, and, you know, bringing boxing, bringing other entities to this great city of Atlantic City, it's just become a pleasure to be able to host these events here.
And we're so glad that you're here. Again, I will say it over and over again. When boxing is in the city of Atlantic City, and probably most cities in the world and the United States, it brings an electric, and it brings it here, whether it was the big cards, your cards, the last few you've had two up until this point of this taping of this show. There's electricity, you know, the men and the women, they come out, the dates are dressed up, they're hanging out, or the guys are out for a good time and watching some fights. Some of the talent that you have brought in is also amazing, and it's on that rise. Speak of some of the, you know, where you're finding these fighters.
Absolutely. So, you know, in reality, you know, I believe this. So, and I'm sorry for being redundant in the same thing, but I just believe this, that you reap what you sow.
Right.
You know, I started in the business of this really by mistake, but I started from the bottom, you know, training, managing, and quickly realized that to be able to do it the way you want it, to be able to change what I call integrity in this sport, is I needed to be the person that was at the helm, you know, the person that controlled it. And that's the promoter.
The promoter, right?
That's the one that creates what you see, you know, on any given fight card. and partnered up with some great people. And long and behold, we've been very, very fruitful at that. We've been very, very great at that. So with that being said, fighters just are drawn to us. Right. You know, we get calls. We you know, parents bring their hey, listen, I have a son, and it's just been such a blessing. I'm really being honest. It's very rare when I go out to seek a fighter. Really, fighters just
come to you, right?
Just have come to us.
I love it what you're saying. And when you say come to us, Manny, tell us where they're coming to, you know, whether there's a site or there's a physical place or online or whatnot. Tell us the viewers.
All over. So,
right.
So through certain connections, through certain people that they see us talking to, or see us on either network television or wherever, they somehow it comes to us. So, right. You know, I believe in a higher power, and that power always just brings it to us. And it's been awesome. I mean, you know, recently we signed Anthony Young.
Yes.
I mean, one of the biggest fighters. Yeah. Definitely the biggest fighter in Atlantic City, but one of the biggest fighters in the world. I mean, comes from beating Saddam Ali. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to capitalize off of it because of COVID and management issues and promotional issues. But, you know, this guy beat Saddam Ali right after Saddam Ali beat Miguel Cotto. You know,
you're talking some huge.
It's yeah. And by the grace of God, he came to us to sign. And, you know, you can't script this type of stuff. No. And he's joyful of being with us. And, you know, we're humble enough to say we're not the biggest promotion, quote unquote. But I can tell you one thing, we definitely treat our fighters, we definitely treat our fans, we definitely treat our surroundings equal, you know, and everybody's just as important to us, from the person that, you know, cleans the floor to the person that makes the calls. And
I see that with your organization. I always believe that the same way, whether it's the guy pushing the cart on the boardwalk to the guy pulling up in the Bugatti, driving, whatever. It's about everyone. It's about communication. It's about seeking, serving, and doing that. And I know your faith background is strong, and that's going to be another show, another segment that we'll talk about, Manny. So, Manny, let folks know how you're structured. We got about a minute to go here. How it's going to be structured, monthly events, and where they can find on Facebook and whatnot.
Absolutely. So we have a 12-fight series, 12-bout series called Boardwalk Boxing here in the Showboat. We're doing every 5 weeks, and we're definitely eager to continue it. You know, there's certain aspects and certain challenges that you have to go through, unfortunately, but at the end of the day, you have to come and see. That's my biggest slogan. It's come and see. I hear, you know, where's boxing? Where's boxing? Come to see these shows, whether it's me or any other promoter around in the cities. Come and see these shows, and you're going to fall in love with the sport that you did when you were a kid.
There you go. And I can attest to that myself, being back into the arena there, so to speak, at the Showboat. Folks, we're going to have this all uploaded for you to know where, when, and what times these shows are going to be. And you'll see us out there promoting them. He'll be on my radio show. Manny will be, some of the fighters, along with here, Stockton University, the Mike Lopez Show. Bro, we really appreciate you coming out.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure.
My father always told me, be careful who you put your hands up to. So that's what I think. Thanks a lot. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you stay tuned for the next interview, what we do here. Don't go anywhere, all right? We're telling you, stay right here. We're going to have to show you how to use these things again. Be well.